Yeah, so I'm going to go with Leon Draisaitl to record over 3.5 shots versus Vegas. I think it's a really good play because of what this game is likely to mean to Edmonton. Um, Kind of regardless, like if they win tonight in Arizona, then maybe they talk themselves into thinking they can move up a little bit in the Pacific race. If they lose tonight in Arizona, then they're like flirting with a horrific playoff miss. I don't think it would ever come to that, but it's still a big enough game that I think we can count on Draisaitl and the big guns playing some big minutes. Uh, he had 6 attempts and 4 shots versus Vegas on Saturday, and I think that's the kind of performance we're going to see in this one. He's priced at plus 106 to record 4 shots versus Arizona tonight. So I would say we can safely say that number probably is going to be around plus 120 tomorrow. And I think it's just a great bet. So Vegas right now is allowing so many chances against. They're in the very, very bottom of the league for what's almost been a month in chances against, which they keep finding ways. But I think this is where people keep being surprised by the numbers on nights games. So maybe we'll dive into that a little more later on, but I think this is a good time to target that where this isn't some defensively stout team right now. And they do have some very meaningful absences. So it's not like, I'm saying this is what they are moving for the rest of the season entering the playoffs. But for tomorrow night's game, the roster doesn't look good. What's been there has been allowing a ton of chances against, and I think it's kind of getting hidden by surprisingly good goaltending and luck in front of goal. So I think it's a really good spot to back Draisaitl to get 4 shots on net.
I like Detroit at plus 150. They're hosting the Pittsburgh Penguins at the Little Caesars Arena. Obviously, this game means the world to Pittsburgh. It's 2 points that they need to have in the wild card race in the Eastern Conference. We're recording this on Monday, so before the Islanders and Panthers play their respective games on Monday evening. But as it stands right now, Pittsburgh at most will be 3 points behind the Islanders and 3 points ahead of Florida for that last wild card spot. Um, they could only be it could be 1-1. It could be 1-3 or whatever you want to look at it. But the point is, it's a must-win game for Pittsburgh. These are the type of games that you look at and you say, well, you got to have the 2 points against an inferior opponent, one that is 3-7 and their last 10 has lost 2 games on the spin. But if you look at Detroit's numbers in this malaise, this 3-7 malaise, and kind of just overall, we know the Red Wings have been bad, but the last 10, like they're not terrible. They're actually on the plus side of the ledger in terms of like expected goals and shot attempts and all that stuff. And Pittsburgh's generating, they're still doing the same thing, right? They're generating chances. The top end of the lineup is doing what it's supposed to do with Malkin and Crosby, etc. One thing that's crazy is that Malkin and Crosby are on pace still to play the entire season, which they haven't done in a long time, and a ton of credit to both of them for it. But they are being asked to basically carry this team. We saw it against Washington the other night. Like the Penguins got the depth scoring that they've been yearning for in that game, and they still almost blew it. So against a Detroit team that's playing better than its results over the past few games, like Detroit's only scoring 1.3 goals per 60 minutes over the last 10 games. Their expected goals are closer to 2.5. They're not getting good goaltending, which, that's probably going to continue, but you're not playing against, a Andre Vasilevsky type here. So that advantage kind of muted. And just with the way Pittsburgh's going with their penchant for being sloppy, the lack of depth that they're dealing with the injuries on defense, they just don't profile even close to being a good favorite, even against a team like Detroit. This on the road, minus 175, it's just way too expensive for Pittsburgh in the spot. So I like the Red Wings at the price.
Okay. I like it. I'm a little scared. I think it could be a great player prop game, and maybe the over are my thoughts. I could see this opening up for sure. So that's kind of my leans, but we'll see. I'm just a little too scared. I think that the Pens have too many true scorers kind of pulling on the rope right now, but I can see the arguments. I actually thought the Caps played them really well on Saturday for as bad as the Caps are right now. They got a,
It's a
you know,
bizarre team, the Penguins, because you watch the game and when their top guys are going, you're like, okay, like that this looks like the Penguins, and then you watch the bottom six takes the ice and it just turns into a little bit of a mess and everything kind of gets all thrown off. And yeah, like if Anthony Mantha doesn't cough up a puck in the neutral zone, like with 2 minutes left in that game, and let's say that the Capitals win in overtime or something, like the tone is very different around this Penguins team, who deserve credit for going to doing the Colorado Dallas back to back, getting 2 out of 4 points, and then coming home and getting those 2 points against Washington. I thought that was a really tricky kind of portion of their schedule, but it seems like when the tide starts to shift on Pittsburgh is when you want to definitely go against them, like we saw with that 7-1-1 streak a couple weeks ago. Then they lost to like Montreal and were just getting outplayed by teams like then they lost the Senators, and you just can't trust them, I think, at these numbers no matter the opposition. So yeah, that's my logic there. And like, what are they going to do in goal? Like, Casey DeSmith is a backup goalie and Tristan Jarry's healthy. He was healthy enough to back up DeSmith against the Capitals, but you can't go to Jarry, I don't think. So it's just there's too many like red flags for a team to be -175 on the road against not Columbus or Montreal or whoever. So